Phew! We are done. We've sprinted through millennia and centuries of styles, epochs, and hundreds of artists. From classical marble to melting clocks, from Parthenons to NFTs. So here's the final question every viewer asks at the end of a history binge. What style are we actually in right now in 2025? Is it contemporary, modern, postmodern? Do we have a label yet? Or are we just floating in cultural limbo? The question isn't only curiosity. Saying this is Baroque or this is Renaissance does more than tidy history. It tells us how people fought, what they feared, what they worshipped, what they laughed at. But spoiler, styles are almost always named later. That people painting in what we call Baroque didn't gather and say, we are starting Baroque now, right? Later, critics and historians coined the label to make sense of patterns they saw across time. So style naming is actually retrospective, not prophetic, nor modern. If you've heard modern and contemporary used like synonyms, stop right there. Modern art usually refers to a historical span roughly late 19th century to mid-20th century. Contemporary is the catch-all for art of our generation, our time, our days. Art made now or in the recent past. But that alone doesn't solve the naming problem. Being contemporary says more about when than how. Here are the main reasons we can't and arguably shouldn't declare a single 2025 style. Since the mid-20th century, the art world has been plural. Simultaneous tendencies coexist. Abstraction, political art, digital practices, collage. There isn't a single dominant aesthetic to name. There's a menu of practices. Scholars have been calling these pluralism for decades. Artists work across continents, countries, nations, referencing local traditions, stories, practices, diasporic identities, and global networks. What's in Lagos or Seoul or Sao Paulo might look different from what's at London or in Vienna's art gallery. And all of these feed into one another. Sculpture, painting, performance, installations, social practices, videos, AR, VR, generative AI. Artists are not constrained to a single medium that would create a unified style. Biennales, museums, organizations, charities, tech platforms, they all curate different priorities. Political criticism versus market spectacle. So there's no single official narrative. Remember, historians name styles looking back, not artists announcing manifestos. Digital technologies, including AI, change practices really quickly. Something can be dominant 3 years and a niche the next. Okay, so if there is not a single style, what is happening in the art world? Few life tendencies that you will repeatedly see in 2025 are artists working in community contexts, decolonial projects, identity politics, and institutional video, web-based work, AR, VR projects, and the flashier forms of blockchain art. The NFTs boom and bust showed how quickly tech can be absorbed and discarded by the market. Trading volumes collapsed dramatically from the 2021 peak. That crash reshaped how artists and institutions think about provenance and digital ownership. Generative models are now tools and controversies. Legal decisions and lawsuits in 2023 and 2025 show the field is in the flux. Artists, platforms, and courts are still figuring out authorship and rights. That conversation is shaping practices as much as the tools themselves. Revival aesthetics, classical figure painting, craft revivals, coexist with cutting-edge abstraction. Artists borrow, remix, and quote the past constantly, another reason labeling is messy. History's taxonomy. Baroque, Renaissance, Impressionism, Gothic is often the work of critics, curators, and historians who look backward and sort patterns for clarity. People living in a moment rarely call it by its name. Baroque was used pejoratively before it became the accepted label. The name was applied later to organize a messy historical field. That means any claim that this is our style today is either premature or a marketing line. Contemporary, postmodern, post-internet, global community, modern. These are just the categories, not an artistic or aesthetic manifesto. The real defining feature of the 21st century art is heterogeneity, multiplicity, rapid technological change, and cross-disciplinary practice. That's our style. An era defined by difference rather than a single look. For viewers, this is great news. You don't need a single rulebook to enjoy art. Instead, ask what questions is this artist asking? What materials are they using? What histories are they activating? Those answers tell you more than a label. For creators, the freedom to make, borrow, and experiment is huge, but so is the responsibility. With new tools like AI or blockchain, come ethical and legal questions about authorship, labor, and reuse. Databases, courts, and platforms are actively resolving those things. So are we in a style right now? Not in the neat textbook sense. We are in a plural, global, tech-shaped moment that resists tiny labels. Centuries from now, historians will probably pick out a few dominant threads and give this era names. But for now, the most accurate description is simply contemporary pluralism. And honestly, that's probably quite exciting. It means the future is open, messy, and full of surprises. If you've been enjoying this series so far, share your favorite episode with a friend or rewatch the one you loved the most to let know the algorithm that my content is worth pushing it further to a wider audience. And if you're still here, it probably means that you're ready for what's coming next. A brand new series where we mix art, history, fashion, architecture, politics, and philosophy. It's all long form. Perfect for the cozy, long autumn and winter evening. You'll find all the details in the description and in the comments below. So I'll see you there or in any of my other videos. Thanks for joining me throughout this journey through art styles and epochs. Ciao!